You guys, welcome to today's video. Today is an experiment of sorts. We're going to be getting bronze. We're getting closer to summer, and I know a lot of people really like a very bronze look, and I'm kind of getting into it a little bit myself. So when I was at Sephora recently, I finally bought this Gucci bronzer. Came out a year or 2 years ago, and I also got a couple of other things that are not new, like brand new, but new-ish. I got a rose ink blush, and I got a blush from Item Beauty, and I finally got Biscuit. This is a contour from Westman Atelier, and I played around with this a little bit. So we're going to just do a bronze look. I'm wearing some white to help make me look a little more bronze, but wow, you guys, I am looking super red today and super fair. Means my sunscreen's working, which is okay. So I'm going to start with the NARS. This is the new one, the Radiant Light, I think it's called. This is in Santa Fe. Put this on with the fingers. It's so lightweight. I can't imagine you'd want to put this on with a brush or a beauty blender. I'll pull a little bit down the neck. You hear it creak all the time. Like, yeah, it's a ghost. It's not a ghost. It's this door just keeps on opening, closing, and I always have things hung up on it, so I can't close it all the way. And plus, I want Lucy to be able to come and go as she wants. So I have some heavy boots behind them to stop it from blowing. Not successful so far. I've hardly worked this in at all, and it's just so good. But it's not an ideal shade for me somehow. It's not bad though. I'm going to go in with the by Terribly Denseless concealer. I'm going to use a bit of it. Alright, foundation done. I like to let my foundation set up for a while before I put powder on it. It just seems weird to put powder on something that's still wet, and I usually go on to my eyes next. So the eyes will be doing back and forth because what I'm doing initially is very, very easy. It's going to take me a minute. And this is the Lisa Eldridge. She came out with these last December, and the color I have is Anjelica. And it's a little bit of a cool tone color. I will swatch it for you. Looks like that. So it's a very neutral to cool, not too bright, not too dark, not too light kind of a thing that will hopefully be able to give me a little bit of depth and receive my hood a teeny bit. So easy. Now for the contour stick, this is something I played with a couple of times, and I am kind of having a problem with the best application. It's right here. So these are kind of in the same family, really. I had first put it like this and then got a brush and kind of took care of it. I've done it a couple of ways. I haven't done it with a beauty blender, so I think what I'm going to do is just put it all over my hand and then pick it up with a beauty blender. I had very high hopes for this, and I'm not sure. Okay, this application, much better than everything else I've tried. I'm not sure about this color though. I want to compare it to something for you. This is from NYX. It's called the Wonder Stick. So that's the NYX, and I'm going to do this one more time. Yeah, the NYX I really like on me because it's much cooler. It's not that this isn't cool, it is, but this almost has a reddish undertone. In fact, it looks a lot like this, right? Where this, I'm not really so sure about it for my skin tone. Well, I can say that this application is the best of the other ways I've tried, either picking it up from this with a brush and putting it on, or putting this on directly and then blending out with a brush. So this is the easier application. It looks more blended for sure. I'm just not 100% sure about the color. So I've washed my beauty blender, and now let's talk about these blushes. So Rose Ink is a cream blush. It's a clean brand, and it looks like this. And the reason I never bought this before was because, I don't know, I think it was maybe exhaustion. The time that this came out, I think so much was coming out, and I feel like my point of view was probably more like, you have to prove to me that you're worthy of being bought. You know what I mean? I saw several people say they loved it, and now, right now, there's not a lot coming out, so I thought, well, let me give this a try. Now, this is a cream, and it is a thick cream, which I don't really enjoy that kind of texture. I think it's harder to blend out, and I think it's kind of tricky. So every time I've put it on my hand and then picked it up with my fingers, like yay, and then took off the excess, like that, and then patted. And it was okay, but I felt like it was a little bit patchy. So I thought today I would do it with a brush. So I'm doing it with a Rephr 04. Same thing though. I'm just picking it up off my hand with the brush. And I have a feeling this will be a nicer application for me. And I am right. Now, I do love doing finger applications, so it's always what I try first. I'm getting the tops of my cheeks because I am going for the bronzy look. And a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit here, if there's any left. And I also find when you're working with creams, at first it looks like, whoa, a lot, and give it 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Sometimes it takes 10 minutes, but it just chills out. At first I thought it was a lot, now I'm like, okay. It looks like a very natural looking color, a very natural looking application, so this is the winner application for this one. Now the Addison Rae item, I think it's Addison Rae, or is Addison Rae Cali Rae? I don't know, but I don't know who Addison Rae is either, so it kind of doesn't matter to me. This is more of a mauvey, coolie color. This is called Admit It, and when you touch it, it feels like a dry cream. And it is a cream to powder formula. And I do kind of like this feeling. There's no fingerprints left in it. There's no gloopiness, heaviness, stickiness. And there's that color right there. And this I'm going to use with my fingers. And I'm going to just, okay, there we go. If you're not doing a lot of creams, this kind of application is really, really nice, but my face is a little more wet than it was the last time I tried this, so it's kind of sticking. Okay, so I've tried this 2 or 3 times before with no problem, but I guess I had powder on first. Or maybe I need the foundation to set a little bit more, and it's definitely uneven. Now let's just see how it works with a brush. So it's kind of first impressions, even though it's not a first impressions. Oh, it's good with a brush. Okay, I do think a brush is better with both of these products than fingers. I haven't tried with a beauty blender, but let's just go over because I may have overdone it. And yes, I did clean my beauty blender after I finished the contour. Better. So for me, a little bit of a learning curve, and still a little too much, but that's okay, because we're going to be doing the bronzer. So I got the color 2, and I got this because it has a lot of coolness to it, which is my preference. So here it is right here. Ignore this because I had another swatch going on. And I don't know, I feel like this is going to be a really, really good shade for me. Taking the Rephr 05, and I'm going to load it up a lot, and then I'm going to take most of it off. I do it on my hand, but my hand has some creams on it, so I'm going to just take it off on this paper towel, and wish me luck. And I'll just blend it, make sure I kind of got it everywhere. And do a little bit of a 3. So 1, 3. I do want to powder before I go on with anything else. Like, I'm going to build this up a little bit, but it's time to powder. My usual by Terry, and just kind of put it everywhere. I have a little shine on the forehead, and this won't really mattify me, so I'm comfortable just kind of putting it everywhere. Now I'm going to go in with this little brush and do a little bit. I don't feel like I need it. I feel like the way I've applied this with the Eldridge is perfect, but just to have the brown in there, not because I feel like I need the shape. I feel I got good shape with this color, but just a little bit of brown, and then I'll just take a big fluffy. I'm also going to put some blush right up here, you guys, because I remember when I used to get color all the time. After a day in the sun, I got color on my eyes. It really made my eyes look quite green. Now I'm going to go in again with the bronzer, same thing. Just pile it on and then take it off so it's really kind of worked in and I don't have any clumps going on. Now this is where I had a little trouble yesterday. It looked great, but I felt like I went a little too heavy-handed for my second application, so I find, here's something obvious, you guys. I'm much better luck when I have firm contact with the skin. Our skin surface isn't flat, you know, and I find that if I go on really lightly, the opportunity to miss an area is there. Whatever's left, I'll bring down the neck a little bit. I don't do too much right under the neck because that is our natural umbrella. So we get shade right here, but a little bit. This will be the last place I'll go in. Again, I'm not trying to bronze my neck. I'm just trying to make it a little more even. And now I can really blend. Going on the top of the cheeks because that is where I get color. And over the nose. And be sure to get the hairline well. So if you have your hair pulled back, it's not super obvious what's going on. I'm feeling like I'm looking a little bronze. I'm not looking scary bronze. I'm not looking like too much bronze. I definitely want to do my eyebrows and my lashes, and then we'll come back and talk about lips. Alright, so did brows, did lashes, list down below. For lip, I feel like I want to do something shiny because the eye's a little shiny, so the lip would be a little shiny too. If we're kind of going for the look of I've been in the sun, or maybe I've been in the sun and now I'm going to go grab a bite to eat. So a little done, but not terribly done. And I guess the idea is I want it to look like all I did was my eyes, and my skin is pretty much what I got from sun that day. It's really fascinating how women are so good at having these scenarios in their head, like when I shop for clothes. Oh, I can see this as somebody's, you know, tea in a garden, but not with the French steel metal kind of table, but instead with an oak table under an oak tree. You know what I mean? It's like I don't even have that life, but we all, I don't know, I feel like we all have the ability to just pick a scenario in our heads and go there. I'm going to go with the Sicily. I think that will probably be the best. It's not a lot of color, but it offers decent shine, and it's also super, super comfortable. This is one look. If you've been here before, you know when I get to the end with lips, I think, well, let's try it with another lip. Let's try something else. So let's say I'm on vacation. I'm writing myself another story. Maybe I would want to do something kind of bright. Orange, pink. I don't know, I feel like I have a lot of pink on my face, so the pink might be too much. I'm at a loss. This Westman Atelier came out as a limited edition last summer, and she's brought it back. And this is exactly the kind of thing. I'm just going to mishmash a couple of colors together. So I basically did all the colors except for this top one. And You could leave it like that or just put a little bit of something glossy on top of it. And I don't have any clear glosses, but I do have something I think will work. So this is Lisa Eldridge Songbird. So that's a way to go, and yet it's still not making me feel like I have the right look. I'm going to just take this darker color and the lighter color right above it. That's the way to go. I'm still not feeling like I hit it on the mark. Not really. So I know I want something bright. I do. I'm going to go with 27 in the Givenchy. This color, it just seems to do it for me. These are super comfortable. Boy, that wind. Yeah. You know when you have the right blush color on, and when you have the right lip color on, all of a sudden the face looks bright and it just feels like yes. But if you want a little bit of shine over that, again, go in with something like this. And I think this is going to be it, you guys. I just feel slightly bronze, looking like I was in the sun for a little bit and got a little bit of color. And yes, I really like it a lot. So very quickly, I'll just go over the products. I know they're not new, but I'm very much enjoying this. I really, really like this color, and I know I can layer this and get something even darker. And now I feel like I'm building a bronzer wardrobe here, but I'm trying not to get the same depth of tone, and this is for a darker depth of tone, and it's a powder. So I feel good about that. These two blushes I feel have a bit of a learning curve for me anyway, and in my experience, now I've used these about 3 times now. The best way to do it, put it on your hand and pick it up from your hand with a brush, and that way you don't have any blending issues. It feels fine on my cheeks, no problems. I did have problems when I first tried them. They seemed kind of patchy. So those are decent. This one, this was the best application I've had for this too. So I'm really glad this wasn't a first impressions on new products. Best with a beauty blender. First put on your hand, pick up, and it's easy peasy. Otherwise, it's problematic. This is easy. I mean, do whatever you want. You can do it with your fingers, you can do it with a brush. It's very easy to do. Even though this wasn't my final look, I do think this is something that is really, really good for summer. And I think I'm going to do a full face of Westman Atelier now that I have more things for a nice little summery look. And the lip, I think I finally settled on the right lip for what I'm feeling. And you know, if you're not new here, that I love that lip. But if you are new here, I love those Givenchy. They're sheer matte velvets. I love them, and I have many of them. And you guys, that's going to wrap up today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe I've inspired you to play a little bit with your makeup as we're coming into summer, and try to go for your own bronzy look if you are someone who, like me, doesn't want to get bronzed in real life. And yeah, until we meet again, be safe and smart, and I'm wishing you good health.